working. Alright. There we go. This is gonna be like the worst thing to watch afterwards, because the first like few minutes will be just like sending links to people and waiting for people to just like pop in. Yeah, I'm sending the links. I do hope if you're watching this at a later date, that you skip around for at least a few minutes, because there will be nothing going on for a good while I do various... Alright, yeah, I'm live apparently. That's tight. Alright, and then I need to just find... It's gonna be like, if you're watching analog, this is gonna be really awkward for a good bit, because I can't find the thread where change your screen. What about my screen? Oh, sorry. my bad. Alright, so this should be. Alright, there's the first person, 3 people watching. I should be able to ping the stream chat as soon as I find it on the Mag by Pirates. Yeah, I won't be able to find it, so okay, I'll try one more time, because I cannot be this incompetent on my first stream. This should be... I should be a professional already. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. So, this is gonna be, as the title says, this is gonna be a chill sound design stream, and I got some sample packs off of the server yesterday. I found, like, somebody linked this Future Music CD1, which is some sort of a classic sample pack, and I was like, hey, you know, why not? Like, because like my process is always pretty blind in. I'll try to find like some weird sample packs to just scavenge through, because in the end, probably they won't be able to like determine what I'm like doing. So I listened to the first few yesterday that are here. So I know the first one is like a male voice, I think. So if we go to narrow it down, this is gonna be a bit annoying at first, but we'll manage.
Okie dokie, hold 'em!
Alright, so that's the bass sound. And I was thinking, because I've been listening to the like a podcast about like people who do like synth music. I think it was Myler Melodies' one, and he was interviewing, I think, like it was the guy from Portishead, and he said a lot of their music has the mid scooped out, and I really like that sound, so I'm trying to kind of create a soup of sound from this extremely annoying male voice.
Okie dokie, hold 'em! Okie dokie, hold 'em! Okie dokie, hold 'em! Okie dokie, hold 'em! Okie-dokie, okie-dokie, hold 'em. 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 Okie-dokie, hold 'em.
Like any sort of like looping thing that has an interesting vibe to it. So that's the only thing I'm looking for at the moment. So just trying to kind of find an interplay between these two buffers, because this fragment, I just downloaded it. I'm a part of the Spark Club that is going on with Pure Magnetic. So I pay €9 per month, and they send me a free, like a VST. Oh hell yeah, there are people already. Which is quite compared to... Okay, so I'll bump myself up just a little bit, and I'll bring down... Oop, 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 oop. No, I am being really careless today. Alright, so I'm just trying to basically find something that will be interesting in itself. It doesn't have to be super interesting, it just has to be okay, so that will be interesting. This is kind of an annoying plugin because it will just keep looping. So I'm gonna do something just a bit like, how would you say it? I'm gonna do something deaf. So I'm just gonna find like a filter, auto filter, and I'm gonna select something like, let's say Nebula, because that has an envelope follower. It usually ends up being kind of psychedelic and annoying, which is exactly the sort of vibe I'm going for. I'm just trying to find something that's like sort of ethereal, and to get to that place, I hope my sound is better than last time. I'm trying to see the chat while I'm doing, but we'll see. So yeah, that is already, it sounds kind of mushy, which is good because I like that sort of like lo-fi thing. Usually when I do stuff like this, I put it on tape eventually, but I do like to have it sort of abstract in its conception. So the next thing I'm trying to do is kind of create even more of a pattern to the whole thing. So I'm gonna use this outer space plugin, which is the Roland Space Echo, and I don't want that much bass, but I want to have sort of like a cold atmosphere to it. So I'm gonna put up the reverb, I'm gonna give it a little bit of flutter and intensity. I'm choosing to use the 10th like algorithm because it gives me the widest like pings between the channels. So let's see how it's sounding right now. It's a bit fast for me. Okay, let's see if I only got wet. Okay, it's sounding pretty good, but it's really quiet at the moment, so I'll have to boost it. I'm gonna use Ivgi, which is a free plugin. I use it mostly to give a little bit of grit and saturation, and usually to bump up the volume a little bit, because I do not like to use the sliders here for whatever reason. I just think the volume is better if you do it via Ivgi than anything else. just a preference thing. I think I've just used it so much that it's just a part of me right now. So we're in this area right now, and this is getting extremely like annoying in a good way. So I'm gonna use this channel right here to record some of that. So I'm trying to get like something that I can, if I just press play, it will go on and make it stop when I press stop, because it's really annoying to have to put this on. This on, and it will just play on as long as. Exactly, yeah. So I'm trying to like get a little bit of like a mush I can further work in. So. Really not getting it right because I have the wrong channels. There we go. So I'll just let that record for a bit. I don't have to make it too long. I'm trying to create sort of like a sample pack sort of thing. So like 30-ish seconds, and after that we'll delete the original loop from the buffers because we do not need it anymore, and it is annoying. Alright, so yeah, exactly. I should do that if I were to continue like this, but you know, I don't want to be married to that, like in particular, because I want to kind of like take chops from here and there around this track and just export them to other tracks. So this is basically like just a chopping block which I can use to further down the line, get some interesting stuff out of it. So I have this okie dokie going on around here because this is like my template for like mixing and mastering my music. This is the reverb basically. So the way I usually do my music is that I like just record everything on a mono, well, it's not a mono, it's a stereo track to a Zoom H1 and just split it down in Ableton, and kind of like I have this preset here, which is basically I split it down to bass, then I have something interesting, I have reverb, and then the dry signal. So I'll try to basically add depth to the sound. So I'm always trying to listen when I'm recording if there's something I can add later down the line, because I know what I can do in Ableton, but I'm not super sure what I can do with the effects I have right now. So I'm trying to like make this hybrid system where it's a live take, which I'll edit later on, if that makes any sense. So anyways, we have this horrible nastiness right now because there's a reverb and that wide stereo. I'm actually gonna take the wide stereo away. And the first thing, I'm trying to see if I can make it even more muddy. So I'm using wires, which I got recently, and I'm not super sure how it works yet. But I just put it on one track just to see what the characteristics of the sound were. And I really like it as just like a lo-fi effect, because it gives this like really gritty sound to it. And if you just like push the wow and flutter, you get this effect I'm looking for. Like I'm really trying to just mush it up. I'm like, I want to create something that's only tangentially a human voice. Put the effect on it. I'm just futzing around. Yeah, I really like Heimbach's sound. Like, I think his effects have a very interesting, like, historic quality to them, because, like, stuff like this, it is basically just a delay effect, but it is giving it some interesting tonal qualities, because, like, everyone knows outer space, like, raw space echo, which is a very specific type of tape echo, but, like, using echoes in this way is, like, it's a different sound to a very interesting end. So this is sounding pretty bad, actually. So I'm just gonna, after all that praise, it is just not hitting me the right way. This is gonna be like the theme of this this amazing. So this is the things texture. So it's basically like a granular effect slash a reverb. I'm just trying to see if there's something that isn't, like, annoying. So I'm above the annoying point at this point. I'm trying to finish this to something interesting. Like this. Yeah, that works. But it's a bit too aggressive. I do want to have that human quality to it. So this has sort of like a tube quality to it. I think Dan is coming later on. I think, like, he said he's interested, so I think I'm actually really waiting for Dan to show up. So this has the tube thing. So I'm trying to go further into it by having a little comb filter. I really like the Melda comb filter. It's free as well. And so I'm just trying to find, because comb filters, they have this quality to them, which is kind of like a phaser sort of thing as well. So I'm trying to find a spot where it kind of melts into the sound. So I'm not trying to have it this aggressive. So I think there it's not, it's only amplifying the sound that's already present. So now I have this, like, a mush of sound after the sound, and now I'm trying to do something more interesting to the sound, because I think this is gonna get really old really quick. So I'm gonna use my best trick to make anything interesting. So I'm trying to pick up I have where it is. This is, like, weirdly stressful to have people watch you, but I think I'm having a good time. So tremolo, and this is my favorite tremolo for this particular effect, but it doesn't have to be, like, it can be any sort of tremolo. So basically what I'm looking for in a tremolo is, like, the most amount of control, because I like to have control over the shape, the phase, and the symmetry, because now we're doing, like, anal stuff, basically, like, in the sense of, oh god, I just said this A word. Anyways, so we're automating just randomly. Like, I do not care what these parameters are, basically. I'm just trying to have some movement to it. So I'm just drawing some curves and lines and seeing if it works. This is actually a thing I kind of gleaned from Tim Hecker, because his music always has a sort of interesting tremolo stuff going on. So I'm trying to see if there's something here that could work in the similar way, where it brings some interest to the sound. So it's really subtle right now, so I'm just gonna take these away just for a second. gonna add some depth to it. Because like this sort of stuff is really good to have like movement, and like especially while doing stuff like drone, it can be quite powerful to have a tremolo going on like this in the background. So I'm just like, I have no fucking clue what I'm doing, like basically. Like I'm just randomly putting nodes and lifting them and lowering them and okay, yeah. So now I have this, but there is a problem. I do like what things is doing right now. Like it's really the thing that's making this sound for me right now. But the thing is, like, it is really aggressive. So I'm already sending this. Like I always have my sends going on because I like to have like basically gain structure. So I'll do this in a way where I'll just take the things and put it to a return and send this to that return. And actually, yeah, let's see how that works. I'll just copy my two compressors. Like I really don't know like what I'm doing exactly. Like I'm always going by intuition. So basically, if somebody's going like, why the fuck does he have two peak compressors going on at the same time? I don't know, man. I'm just an amateur. So anyways, I'm sending basically this sound. So we're getting the same thing, but way louder because, you know, reasons. Well, it's because, like, you know, the send track is already pumping it up. Like, it is way louder than the audio track I'm sending, so they're basically stacking up as far as I know. So what I'm trying to do now is put a gate on it. So I'm trying to find a place where the signal is going to break up in interesting ways. I might need to do another tremolo to get this to an interesting place, but let's see. So I'm just... You hear that, like it's pumping up and down, which is way more interesting than just the basic droning on of a reverb. Then I can ratio it a bit. And it's already, like, I like this sound. Like, this is really getting there. I would still add stuff to it. Maybe because it is going through two like return tracks send tracks right now. So maybe I could add some width to this one. Let's see. So let's put it like it's going through every which way. So you have the dry sound and you have two sends. The other send right now is just basically widening it. And oh yeah, and this somehow. Oh yeah, of course, because I lowered the volume here. Yeah, basically, yeah. It's basically like I'm just trying to have movement to this sound. So, and this is like, if we just take off the effects, like we begin to see the whole like picture way bigger, because like you hear the tremolo, and then you start to add stuff to it, and now it's a whole thing that's like getting the whole stereo field to work with it. But I'm still not satisfied, because I think this channel, because it's only widening right now, so I could put a Convolver reverb on it. So if somebody's not overly familiar with Convolver reverbs, you can just basically model a room. Like, that's the basic gist of it, but you can use it way more creatively. And the people who made this one, which is... I don't remember. Audio Thing, once again, like, I just really like Audio Thing plugins. So, what I could do is use any which sound I have in my possession. So we should go to the Chris file. Let's see, Long Clang, whatever this is. That seems a bit loud. So you hear that kind of stringy sort of, like it's kind of subtle because it's in the lower register, but it's creating a fuck ton of tension to this sound. Like I really like this sort of like adds to the sound, because you get like subtle depth to it, which is really informing the way you feel about it, because this is already sounding kind of like a panic attack to me. Like I'm really getting a sort of like a chase feeling from this, and as soon as you add this sound to it, I just really love that tone. So I'm calling that sound done. I really do like it, and I'm going to release this as a sample pack after the stream. So let's just go to stream samples, sample pack, and let's call this Chase Voice Drone. Why not? Let's see if there are interesting stuff going on in the stream. There are 5 people watching. So how is everyone doing right now? I'm trying to gauge the room. At this point, I'll just, because this is for a very specific purpose, I probably won't ever come back to these particular sounds. If I want more sounds, I'll create them. So I'll just delete everything except for the like basic compressors, saturators, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just trying to basically open a whole new path. Let's see. I'll delete that one since it's already in the file. Let's see, what's this next sound? Yeah, not really feeling that one. Okay, that's a cool sound, but that is very exactly something I would do. So I'm going to just cut a little piece of it in the end, because there was this like weird wow sound to it. Let's see if I found it. No, actually, that was... It sounds like a metallic... Back and forth, but you know, yeah, I do be knowing you. Like I dig the tone, and I think we can make something really cool happen from it. So let's see. The thing about like sample packs, especially professional made, is that like when it hits dead air, it is like actually dead air. So you can't usually bring out something really cool from the backgrounds. So I would try to just flatten it and see if there's something interesting going on. But you know, professionally made sample packs are always like really good with their noise gates. But I want to accentuate that one particular bound about it. Like yeah, exactly. It's a resonating metal bowl. Like it reminds me of oh, thank you, Foot. Yeah, Waterphone is a good one. I was thinking more of like a basic, because I wasn't thinking about an instrument. I was thinking about like it's called kiwas. Sorry, it's not. It's like a thing you use in a sauna. So you put water in it and you just throw water from it. They're usually made from copper and they have a wooden, like a holder. And when I was a kid, I used to boing them and move the water around because it makes pitch bendy sounds. And I think this has a similar, especially that one. Like I really want to amp that up, so I'm going to Melda again, and I'm going with an equalizer, so I'm trying to find the frequency of that particular sound. And because we're only using the tail, I am going to squish it just a little bit. And this is why graphic equalizers are the shit, because you can see it. Actually, I like the upper harmonics more because they have a ghostly vibe. It goes on for too long. I want this to be more of like something you feed to a delay. So let's cut it down just a little bit. Sauna stove, exactly, yeah. Finnish culture is high culture. Okay, I'm gonna do a really stupid little trick. I've tried a couple of times, so let's call this 0. So I'm going to basically, because like convolvers are super fun because you can feed the same sound into itself. So that's what I did. I exported the sound and now I'm putting a fog convolver on it, and I'm going back to here and let's amp that up just a little bit. And you get that really, really, really nice, like, it almost sounds like a resonating filter because it is just the same sound feeding back to itself. I'm not like super sure how close this is to kind of like sample-based FM. It's not, but it's actually like really not, now that I think about it. But, you know, you get some really fucking nice tones. I'll squish it down a little bit because it seems to be clipping just a little bit. That is not a problem, but trying to avoid making bad sounds. Yeah, there we go. So 4 bars. What's the... Okay, we have moved from sounds to just talking about Finnish culture. Welcome back, Dip. Yeah. So basically, I'll just recap. So we make the other sound. This is like a metallic bowl that's been fed back to itself via a convolver reverb. and it has some pretty aggressive EQ on it. So you get this like... Yeah, it is my fault. Actually, I should probably invite more people. I should send this link to Dan because he's not here. So what's the take on, like, I want to make this a bit democratic because I'm really liking this sound as it is, but it is kind of low effort compared to the last one. So I'm gonna let it play a couple of times, and yeah, no problem. Have fun at work, but people who are listening more intently, should I just export it right now? I'm sending the link around for just a little bit. Let's see if he finds his way to here. Oh, he sent me a message, so he just probably did not notice. All right, link sent. I'm really digging this sound. All right, it's Dan the Man. So this is the sound I've been creating for the past 2 minutes. It's a metal ball that's been fucking just convolved into itself with some EQ. I really dig it, so I'm exporting it, and I'm calling it QS. Yeah. Alright, on to the next sound. What is going on in here? Oh yeah, I should probably see. I didn't put anything anywhere, so. Oh, dude. Oh, that's a good sound. Okay, but this is a sound I want to alter. Like, this is the thing I've been thinking for a good while now, because there are some instruments and sounds which are really beautiful by themselves, and I don't think I could add a lot to them, but I'm going to try. So let's see. So as it says, it's a spectral ensemble machine. It's kind of hard to explain what it does because I don't know either, but it has a tremolo, delay, all sorts of stuff, spectral smearing. So this should give us sort of like a ghostly... I think that's the theme of this stream. So let's just blur it the fuck out, blend it, and let's put a real slow tremolo on it. And put the delay down because I want to put something else on it, and let's make it less squishy and less loud and maybe a bit more distorted. Okay. I'm not super sure why. It sounds tight. Like, I really do like it. But there are some drops and pops I'm not a fan of. So let's see if I put the rate down just a bit. Okay, we'll just have to clean it up. That is okay by me. D-click, let's see if this works. I've seen a lot of like work that's being done right now, which is like trying to find new synth tones by canceling stuff out. I am not good enough to try that yet, but this sounds like a samurai movie. It's probably I'm betting the sound is shakuhachi, so you know the Japanese connection is already there, but this is like, you know, cyberpunk. There's a tone I really like in here, so I'm trying to accentuate it with an equalizer. Let's see if I can find it. There it is, that's the one. So I'm trying to pull the original, like the bass down just a bit so I can have more of that like breathy tone to it, but also the more synthy tone to it. I'm still not getting rid of the clicks, so I'll just have to live with it, and people who might use this will have to live with it as well. There are ways to go around stuff like that. Mostly I use reverbs, but I work in drones anyway, so I don't usually have to deal with a lot of clicks and pops and stuff. And when I do, it's usually pretty coordinated on my end. I'll add some grid to it. This is speakers, so basically this is another convolver, but this is not a reverb. So this is trying to model like certain mics and speakers, and also different sorts of distortion, compression. It also has a delay on it, which is usually, I think, it's trying to model the frequency response of the whatever speaker or mic you're using. So I'm just trying to find something to make it just a little bit more like a VHS. So that's my thing going on right now. I usually... Yeah, so it's sounding way more like a synth right now. And I could squish it just a little bit. Yeah, like speaker emulation and emulation in general, like I really like the general idea of trying to like make digital sounds into physical sounds with modeling, because like you could do a lot of good stuff by just simply having that stuff, but having like stuff like this, like I don't even know if this is like available anywhere. Like I have no idea what this is even. Like Grundig stuff, like forget about it, especially in Finland. Like it's really hard to get to. So you're basically saving a fuck ton of money by doing it via emulation, and I would wager that there aren't a lot of people who are really like pained over the fact that it's not like 100% correct in my music, especially. Like I don't think I have that audiophile audience who is going to notice different. So let's see. It is good, but in my pursuit of having a sort of VHS vibe, I might have sucked a little bit too much from the body of the sound. I'm kind of hesitant to say that's a problem, because I do think like unperfect sounds themselves can be quite powerful as a jumping off point. So I'm just trying to think of a person who might hear this and be inspired to like maybe double it up or something else. So I'll just call this a day with this sound too. Yeah, I think like, damn, like especially this, like I don't think this was too expensive, and it has a lot of variety. Also, you can get like background noise to it, so they have these interesting like sample banks you can have. You know, usually don't use them though because they are preset and not a super interesting one. So I'm just like, that pop is annoying, so maybe I'll try to smooth it out just a little bit with no. I'll probably just I'll try. I'm way too into this now. This is like basically my small reverb. If I'm trying to make something sound huge, I'll usually use Untitled Reverb. I used to have like the presets to this, and this has amazing presets. Sanford Reverb is free, as far as I remember, and it is absolutely fantastic. I just kind of lost the preset, so I'm using it basically to either do like freezes. Actually, I should use a freeze to make something. But anyways, I'm trying to smooth it just a little bit. So I'm trying to. Let's see if this works. And it did. It took away the pops. Let's see. Wait, I can hear one of them. But I think nobody else will be peeved. So I'm gonna call this Vishe Samurai. Yeah, I think analog, that is a really good way to do it. I really like tape players. Like, I think there is some great tape emulators probably in the VST realm, but I think there is like such a meaningful difference between having real tape, especially bad quality tape loops. I've found, like, I made this album this year called High Impact Banality of Life or something. I don't remember what it was like exactly, but anyways, so that was basically like a project. I just threw some stuff on Ableton and just like made a timeline where there are like these disparate sounds, and I was like, okay, this is sounding like pretty okay, but I know like there's something missing because it's a lot of dead air. So I have a tape deck which has recording functions, so I just recorded to there. So what this gave me was like every part of the dead air is now this interesting, warm, dense fuzz of white noise, and you get this sort of like a sidechainy thing going on, because anytime you have like a big hit of sound on tape, you hear that white noise just like ducking down. And there are also a lot of like areas in different types of tape, I guess. I'm not like really read up on this subject, but like there is certain bands of frequencies which are always like put forward. Especially like voice seemed to cut through anything. Like even if there was a big booming sound, if there was voice in the track, it would be highlighted. So it's basically like a mixing engineer having its way with your music after you've done stuff to it. Yeah, I make too much stuff. Like, I remember a few albums from heart, but like there's a lot of like music I have like a general idea what the name of the album was. Um, yeah, Dan. Like my thing is like I do these sorts of sessions to have like a bank of samples I can use later on to put on tape and stuff. So basically, my normal process is just to sit in front of the modular and noodle around until I have a good take, and then just bring it on and layer it with itself. But like my problem was that I had like tape loops but nothing to put on them, and so I tried to record a lot of stuff that was like near to me, which is good, but it's also quite limiting because I don't have like I have a 72 string zither and it's way out of tune, or as I like to call it, in a Zen harmonic relationship with itself. So I try to like sample that sort of stuff, but it can get like in the way of creation because you want to have a certain mood when doing a piece, and having like sample banks of stuff you already know is in your style and you don't have to do anything to them is really relieving. So I found that doing stuff on Ableton used to use on tape loops especially and on the Morphogene is really helpful. Fun to hear it's helping you out of the art block. Yeah, Dip. Like doing tape stuff is just like, and I really also like just the like to have that physical object to put into the deck and just press play. I think I have 20 tape loops at this moment, and I love them like my children. Well, no, I really do like them to have that. Like especially tape loops are such an aleatory tool because they have a certain space of time and a certain vibe and a lot of like complex interactions that go into the creation of a certain sound at a certain time. Like you can really overdrive tape and it sounds fantastic, or you can like bury that shit in white noise by having it really low on the mix and all that kind of stuff. And it really works to create a certain mood that would be really hard to do in the box, basically. Yeah, sound design sessions are the best. I do agree with Andrew Huang on that one. Let's see, what's the next sound? Not my thing. I usually like I don't really like I've been thinking about doing a lot more with voice by running it through shitty MP3 compression because I think that sound has a very like weird resonance with me. But I don't really like general like singing stuff in my music. Like I think that's something that's really easy to ground and really hard to incorporate into like abstract soundscapes. Am I making you crave that cigarette? Okay, that is way more interesting. Let's see. I'm warping it and I'm double timing it. So, and I'm using the beats because I started to do a vaporwave thing with Dan, and I noticed that the warp function with beat on is a fantastic way to have these weird glitches. Okay, that's like fairly interesting. But it has like just a little bit of interference going on. So I'm going to put Supermassive on it, and I'll just mute it for a while because that's not the thing I want to do first off. This is a Vocoder plugin. Yeah, we started to make Vaporwave, but then we just kind of both flew our own ways. It's happening eventually. I have the perfect cover for Vaporwave. So, you know, the way vocoders usually work is you have a synth that you can play. I'm just trying to create like a metallic thing, so I'm using this probably not a very super good vocoder. Well, it's a good vocoder, but I'm not using it correctly. So I'm just taking all the classic pulse width saw waves away, and I'm putting on sub and noise, and then I'm actually gonna do the scoop again. So let's take some of the mids away, input mode on, and let's see. Whoop. Actually, I don't want to do the sub here. I have FreeMod, and it has a great factory preset called, where is it? Dissonant Sub. Yeah, that's sounding right. Oh shit, Simon is already on that iterative MP3 thing. Like, my thing was, like, I really like hip-hop, and I was listening to, well, when it came out, like, Earl Sweatshirt's album, I Don't Like Shit, I Don't Go Outside, has this song called Grief, which sounds like disintegration loops with this, like, really crushed, like, MP3 crushed drum section to it, and I was like, okay, that sounds fantastic. I need to do that to something. And I think like voice is one of those things that's really good to sort of have this uncanny valleyness to it, which can be achieved with all types of degradation. Non-input. That is true. Vocoders are so cool and underrated as hell. So the next thing I'm doing is having Supermassive, and I'm gonna go to delay millisecond because I want to have a sort of like a cadence to it, and that usually works pretty well. Because it's basically, I'm doing the thing that they did with the pedal. I'm really not remembering stuff today, it seems. The chase plate pedal, which is like a pitch modulator with a delay. So I'm trying to emulate that sort of thing. So let's see. This might be a bit too drastic, let's see. Oh, yeah, it's not even on. Let's put the mix up. That's... Do you get that sort of pitch bendy vibe to it? And it is really not sounding like I want it to sound sound like right now. What a mouthful. But I guess I can make it work later on, because working iteratively is a blessing where you can add and subtract whatever you want. So I'm just making this sort of like stepped thing. I'm trying to keep the distance quite short. Let's see. Whoop. So, there. Let's see how that sounds. Okay, the thing this needs is way less mix. Because we're only hearing the delay, but not that. Okay, yeah, that's working kind of well for my intentions. The next thing is to put a tremolo on it. And I want this to be before, because I want it to be like a choppy thing. I'm already losing kind of a lot of the volume, so I'm bringing that up with my trusty old friend. I think another delay could work, because now I have this... Yeah, Therme. That's the pedal I was thinking earlier. Because now I have this whipping up and down momentum, but I want it to be a bit more subtle. So let's see if I can make it happen here. And I want it to be kind of long. Let's put a lot of... Let's see. Okay, that is sounding like garbage, so let's not use that one. Let's use something a bit more conventional in the delay department. Like, I really do think... Well, this is not exactly what I was thinking, but let's try. Because I do want to have... Because, like, right now it's too much just the whipping sound. I really want it to be like a cascading thing. So let's see if I can make that happen. I think there's too much of the whipping. That seems to be the thing. We can also take a little filter once again and go into the specific area, because there is a very specific frequency range where the whipping is the most annoying. I'm just like... Okay, sometimes you just gotta know that you fucked up. The whipping does not work. But this sound is still pretty uninteresting. Let's be real here. And I'm not super sure where I should go with it. So I'm just gonna put like a real fucking aggressive thing on it. What should it be? I think, has anyone taken the dip to isotope stuff? Because I really think like Trash 2 is an amazing saturator, distortion, bit crusher, whatever effect. I usually like to go to the defaults to see if there's like a tinge of inspiration somewhere. Let's see if this is... Oh, this actually... I should take this away because this probably will boost the volume as well. This is a good example of the adage that anything can be anything, because now this does not sound like a human voice anymore. It just sounds like a machine. To be honest, I'm digging this way more than where we were. You hear that, like, when it starts, there's this little delay line. And it's interesting, but I'll just abandon this. I've used way too much time on something that I don't really like. So let's see what comes next. I hope people are not too disappointed. What? Sure. Let's see if there's something more interesting. Nope. I'm actually kind of curious. What does a siren sound like if it's reversed? Because like sirens are basically super basic things. They're just a frequency that's LFO'd, but they all also have this weird physicality to them. Like especially this one, this interesting. Okay, I'll actually do both. Let's see. How is the chat doing at this? Is that the siren? No, it's not. Okay. I'll just go to Fathoms. Fathoms is another one of these pure magnetic plugins, and basically it's like a reverb and a comb filter, I guess, because it is given a sort of metallic taste to it. So let's see if this will make something interesting come out of this one. Yeah, we're resampling that to here. We want the reverb tail basically, because I think that's way more dramatic. And we can actually, let's do a layered thing. So let's take this off. I saw this tutorial a few months back, which was like how to do inharmonic noise. I don't remember what the context was. Like there was this dude who was, I think he was like a sound designer for a movie or something of that sort, or alternatively he was a dubstep producer, because like those dudes are really into sound design. Like I really highly respect people who do bass music, because they always have really fucked up interesting ideas about like how to create a certain tonal qualities to sound. Anyways, so his whole thing was he had a whole library of sounds which were just inharmonic noise, which is an amazing name for whatever thing you're doing. So I was bound to try it. Sanford Reverb is really good for it because you can automate the freeze, and what you want is just the freeze buffer of that sound. This is on the wrong track. So what you do is you have the sound, and you go to Sanford Reverb, freeze, and as soon as the sound hits, it's gonna start generating input. It's just gonna go on for a load of time. So you get these massive drones from literally anything. It's gonna take a little bit of the tone. I forgot to push play. Oh, sorry, record. So you can have. I'll just show a couple examples. I want to basically create this orchestra of metallic sounds. That's my goal right now. And I don't care if I use this normal sound, but it has this kind of a dramatic thing going on. So let's just. And just put that on any, like, just put that on the sampler, like the one that's here, like simpler. I'll see if I can make this work. So ambient and evolving, ambient swells, like this sounds amazing on anything. Just put it there, and let's make like the most well, I shouldn't do it. Like, I don't know anything about theory. I'll export this. People will know how to make these now. So just make them. They are really good for whatever drone you're doing. And the good thing is you can use anything. Absolutely anything. So I'll just delete this one. And it's going to be slightly different from last time. So we're going to delete that too. And we're going to go to Stream, Samples, and take something from Chris's. Let's see if there's like a hit. Long clang. That is good. Probably. I have 10, and it's the limited version. I only have 8 tracks, so that's why I'm doing this like this. Like, I know people who actually do stuff, like real stuff, probably have the like the full version, but I just don't have 300 euros to just chug into software right now. I don't right now. Eventually though. So I don't even know what this sound is, but it's quite loud. So let's take it down just a little bit, and let's see how that inharmonic drone is going to sound like. Yeah, I'm really hyped about those. I've seen like one thing I'm really hyped about, like getting a full version, would be to have like Max MSP, because I follow this dude who does just only basic, like basically only does Max MSP stuff, which is supremely interesting. He's developing a spectral reverb right now, which sounds fantastic. I'll send interested parties a link to his Twitter if you're curious. So here's that sound. Yeah, music is a dead machine. That is just how it goes. And like, you know, this sounds really nice. But you could add like a tremolo once again, stand tremolos, and just make it sound like a really interesting, like a cymbal shuffle or something. I'm not doing that right now because I want to hear how these two sound on top of each other. Whoa, whoop, 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 whoop. What is happening? Okay. But yeah, this is how you make like interesting metallic drums, and they're all always kind of metallic because reverb algorithms. I'll just make like a real metal scrape, metal door, thud. Let's have thud. I'll make a metallic drone for y'all. Why am I speaking like I'm actually an English speaker? There we go. Let's see how that sounds. Oh, yep, I have it. And like that sounds really good already. Like, just like if I was making a track, like this would sound really good to me. Like this, sort of like a drop to it. It just really works. It's dramatic, it's grand, it's interesting, and you preserve that quieter sound, the thud on the background, and then you could like, let's see, I'm just gonna noodle around just a bit because I know you guys like it. So just like. You know, you get a lot of like super interesting stuff basically for free with inharmonic noise. Like, it's such a cheat, and I think people don't know about it. So I'm really sharing some good stuff here, trying to make myself feel better about this random tangent. So let's create one more track and delete that one and record on that. Now I fucked up. Also, this is just like such an organic sounding thing. Like, this sounds like a faucet running at like medium high speed. And it's just a lot of fun. So I'll just export all these drums as they are, and we'll see what happens after that. Because there's one more. Actually, I'm probably not gonna use this sound. I'm just gonna go to the next chunk. What is this? Okay, so the first sound. Anything that has, like, I think if you go far enough, like any different, like if you have any sort of like convolution stuff with like let's see, inharmonic drone 1, if you have like any sort of like different algorithms, you get different solution, like different sort of stuff as well, because this is like really playing off of the specific mathematical models that are in that specific reverb algorithm. So let's see. And let's delete these channels. Alright, there we go. How are we doing at this? Oh man, water pipes are like so cool. Have you guys seen the Ben Jordan video about the resonating tubes he made? Like, especially revolving around convolution. Like, he did a really good video about sampling and using convolution via these massive metal pipes. Yeah, it's one of my favorite ones. I think he has incredible videos just all around, but I think that video is really like one of those that really changed the game for me. Oh yeah, I'm muted. Yeah, like I think that the one he did with in the same place, where they just hit the bunch of like metallic object, like I think every one of his videos is good, but the ones where he goes to do field recording and sampling stuff is especially interesting. I was also really inspired by the infrasound video he did about like bed recording. I'm like tangentially really interested in like bioacoustics. Like I follow a few researchers that are like recording frogs and stuff, and there's a lot of like overlap between experimental music, found sounds, and like stuff in general. And I think that's one of those things that's like really legitimizing like experimental music, because it's so easy to just sit down to a DAW and do stuff like this, but like Jana Windrek is going to like icebergs to have these massive bass drones spring from the cold nothingness of billions of years of ice just melting, and like that is so immediately poetic that it's like I think a modern art group is more interested in stuff like that than, you know, modular music. So I think it's a good way to get a lot of art school kids into experimental music. I don't know why you would want to do something like that, but I'm always trying to find ways to get more people into this sort of stuff. Yeah, Ben is incredible. Like he does such cool videos, and his music is amazing. Also, that one about additive synthesis where he shows the string samples he did with just synthesizing, and then how it breaks down in the song, gives me chills every time. Okay, let's see what this sound is. I don't really work with drums. I'm so sorry. If this is all drums, I'm probably gonna skip to the next one. These are cool as fuck drums, though. Like, people should just download this sample pack. Yeah, not my type of sounds. Not a cup of tea. Like, things I'm trying to avoid a bit are drums, like classic vocals, and like synthesizers, because I think I'll have more fun with like field recordings and acoustic or electroacoustic instruments. What the fuck was that sample? Okay. Okay, now this I can get behind. Checking up on chat. Everyone's still alive. Everyone's still interested and engaged. Let's see. I think this is gonna really work if I kind of like split it in two. Yeah, just like drums are cool and you can make interesting stuff with them. I have been known to listen to music with the drums in them, but I just don't find it too interesting. Like when I was starting out and I was like one of those people who would just put stuff in like pole stretch, like drums were good because they have like such good transient decay characteristics. They always sound like huge breaths, but like I think I'm over that right now. So anyways, the thing I want to do with this one is drop it down a full octave. Let's see. And maybe filter it a whole bunch. And then blow it out. I think there are like so many. Yeah, like that's the perfect way to say it. Like I'm addicted to drone as well. I really like rhythmic music, and I'm planning to do like a noise grindcore sort of thing with a friend of mine this coming year, or this year. And I think drums are fascinating. I watch a lot of videos like on YouTube which are like, oh, I'm playing 4 rhythms at once, or like drum covers of IDM jams, but like I am just not like, I don't want to go into drum making myself. Like I made that one MVP album with Dan where I did the drums mostly, and that was interesting, but I'm not that interested. So I'm hearing like a real plethora of sounds in this one. So there's this like a horn sort of sound, which is real nice. Like just listen to this. Like if I filter out the high frequencies from the other part as well, I'll probably more like EQ, not filter. Let's see. Because I think one of those things that really gets people emotionally is stuff that's sort of like conventionally understandable, and horns to me are so good in that department because they are like in between drone and having that recognizability and also physicality. Like I really like Microtub's album called, I'm really not remembering anything today, but they basically had like 4 people with microtonal tubas making drone music, and it sounds fantastic, and I'm having that sort of vibes from this particular one. So I'm trying to find the on that upper register on this one. Let's put this down. Usually a really good way to do stuff is to just like frequency mask something. It sounds organic and existing in the real world, but also like it has that sort of like feeling that if you would crank it up, it starts to resonate within your like cavities. Like that's one of those things I'm really looking for in drone, is that exact feeling, because I think like it's not like a spiritual thing or anything, but I think that feeling of sound interacting with your body in that resonatory way is fascinating, and I think it's really meaningful and gives depth to the experience itself. This is like a bit esoteric, but you know, that's what I mean by physicality. It's like all those things you mentioned and a little bit more. So maybe if we go just a little bit, we can just chop off this until we get rid of the higher part, because I'm going to run this through a shitload of reverb, because I want it to sound like primordial, like you're emerging from a cave or going into a cave and you hear this sound. And I think prolonging it with a reverb is the perfect way to do exactly that. So I'm going into the convolutional reverb again. So for Convolver, and I downloaded the pool of the Black Star impulse reflections that Heinbach released. So let's see. Let's just scroll through these. Whoop. So I'll just put this to whoop. Yeah, that has the most, like, it sounds like a warning sign. Yeah, I would love to be on Andre's show. I really love it. I've been watching bits and pieces here and there because I've been like way too busy recently. But especially the soundtrack series is really intriguing. So let's hear these two sounds on top of each other. Okay, it's this is like, I think the higher register should only go through the reverb. Or at least they should have different sorts of... Yeah, submarine alarm, that's a good one. They should have different sorts of reverb. Yeah, I think that works. Only thing that I want to do is finesse the lower sound just a little bit. So we're going into Equalizer and just I do dig that, but I think I need one more layer. Oh. So basically, like, this is sounding really good, but it's sounding too hollow. I want it to sound like the end of the world. So I'm gonna go to EQ3, infrasonic. That's a bit too quiet, so if it comes into play again. So I'm trying to just give this a sub boom. Yeah, that's true. I'm doing a little bit of envelope shaping after these are all. It's clipping in a really unfun way too. But I think yeah, it gives it a bit of definition. Yeah, I think that's necessary. And then I want to give it a bit of delay. And I think I want to like actually use something that's pretty like normal. So let's go to clean delay. Longest ping pongs. That is good to me. Let's see how that sounds without the filter. Okay, well, let's see what the people are saying while that is droning on. I want them to be in like maybe 4s. Alright, let's see. Yeah, then just a little bit of envelope shaping so it doesn't pop that hard. Let's see how that works. Question for you guys. If you were to use this sample pack, because I'm like actually going to release this, do you want the delay off or on? Probably off, but I'm thinking maybe on just for funsies. So let me know. Yeah, I really dig this one. Just a little bit. Oh, thanks, Dan. That is a great reference. Okay, I'll take the delay off, but it does sound better with delay. Like, you will never not convince me that it doesn't sound better, but you know, it's tempo sync and all that sort of stuff. So let's say primordial horn. And on to the next one. Actually, there was some good stuff later on here. Okay, yeah, I'll put it without the delay. I think the crowd is unanimous on that one. I think this is it's actually from, like, if you mean the bass sample, Andre. This is from, what was the name of the sample pack? Future Music CD1. Somebody posted it on the samples and packs thread. I think yesterday or the day before that. There's a lot of good stuff in here. So what I'm really gravitating towards in here is the higher register stuff. So I'm trying to capture the, I don't really dig the windy, like, fluty part on the lower register, so I'm basically gonna try to remove it with kick boom. Like, stuff like this is always like sort of annoying when you're doing sample stuff, because there's so much baked into this sound already, and even though you can take a lot of it away because of how, like, harmonics work, you're always gonna have the sound in the bass layer. Basically, it's always gonna poke through, but if you put this with, like, anything we've done here, so let's put, like, in harmonic drone behind it, it probably would not interfere too much, especially if that's a bit louder. So if we were to just make something like this. Okay, that's a bit too loud. I'm really droning and trying to prove that. Okay, it's still hearable, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, you can backmask, well, not backmask, frequency mask a lot of the stuff away by layering it with something that's in the same frequency range, and when I'm taking stuff away, it's gonna be weaker, so it's gonna, like, basically melt away. I think the crowd is also sound designers, so they want to control the delay. That is very true. That is very true. I think, like, it's good to bake a lot of the effects in, because that's how you basically make the sound. But, like, eventually, like, stuff like delay and everything is better to add later on for, like, tempo sync stuff, and maybe you just want it to be longer and whatever the thing might be. I'll see if the vocoder works on this one. Like, I really think any sort of effect which will accentuate the highs is good, and I think this could give it a bit of interest as well. Yeah, so now you hear the flute is almost gone completely. And now we can have a lot of fun. Especially with erosion. I think this is one of those things that, like, I haven't heard before Ableton. Like I think Mr. Bill said this is like a vocoder that's vocoding, like, white noise, and it sounds so fantastic. Give it a little bit of a tinge. Yeah, I'm going to use them in, like, tape loops, so they're always going to be used somewhere eventually. I could probably do a whole composition out of stuff that I'm making here. And I had a little bit of a jam earlier with some inharmonic noise, but I think I'm trying to basically just walk through my process and express like what I'm looking for in a sound and how I create them. So this is more to just generate a lot of samples I can use later on, maybe give back to the community a bit, because there has been a lot of samples I've been super inspired by, so maybe this will eventually go back to, like, maybe people will use this, who knows, but I'm just gonna basically put them into the Morphogene and tape loops. That's my thing. Let's see. What would this sound like? Just looped. Not great. So let's keep it as it is. I'm a real believer in frequency shifters over pitch shifters. Yeah, I vaguely remember that one. So yeah, frequency shifters are really good because they give a very specific sort of, I would say it's like a rotten sound to a lot of the stuff. So it's not like a frequency shifter which is like musical. They're like, they fuck up a sound in a very interesting way, I'd say. So this is already so thin that this is not working overly well. Running out of ideas what to do with this sound in particular, because it is a simple sound, but it's doing what I wanted from it. So I'm just gonna try with a few different, because like this folder right here, like when you get Ableton 10, there is this like audio effects tracks and space. Like there's so much interesting stuff in here that will give some depth and interest and movement to any sound. So I'll just see what this sounds like with maybe like ghostly swirls. Not too good. Maybe I should put this like before everything. Maybe another one. I think this has an interesting tail, so I would probably just resample this. Let's give it a bit more time to decay. And once again. Okay, now this is a completely new sound. Let's give it a little bit. time. Like stuff like this, like I think a big part of like sound design in general is to have the sounds interact with an interesting way, so you can use and reuse the same thing over and over again, which will lead to stuff like this, which just reminds me of like Throbbing Grizzle or something. Like if we put this on warp and just drop it down like an octave, that is a cool sound as well. Like I don't know, I really dig this sort of like tails are underrated. Kenny Siegel, who is a hip hop producer, he's produced for like Rap Ferreira and Billy Woods and stuff. Like he says most of his stuff is like looking for interesting tails. Like he's not that interested in like the attack. He's interested in the release, and I think that sounds like, hey, have fun, Dan. I love you, dude. Thank you for being here. But I really think like tails are where a lot of good stuff happens when you just stack effect on effect on effect on effect. Eventually you get stuff like this. Like that just sounds so good to me. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go analog. Was it in like there was the premiere coming up really soon, right? I think I'm slowly shifting. Like I think if people are gonna have something else going on, this would be an interesting place to quit for today. Yeah, alright, so I'm probably gonna call it a day here. This was a lot of fun. I'm gonna do another one of these. Yeah, next time I'll check myself so I won't forget a lot of this stuff while doing, and I'll catch you that time. I have no idea how to quit this except for in OBS. Alright. But hey, have fun, y'all. I love you, and this was a